How many times have you said to yourself, but I eat healthy. I just don't understand why nothing's working. This was me for about 6 years. I was eating healthy. I was eating clean. I was following all the guidelines for these things. And well, I did feel better than when I had been eating crappy. I still was struggling with a lot of fatigue, brain fog, weight troubles. I just could not figure out why I was gaining weight. And I had my acne and sleep issues and mood swings and other things going on. The main reason why I was able to overcome my hormonal acne, but also my chronic fatigue syndrome, which was something that no doctor had ever given me any hope on. When I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome at age 15, I was told that, hey, here's your diagnosis. And by the way, we have nothing we can do for you. Over the years, I went to various specialists and I was poked and prodded and had tests and just, other medical professionals trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I was sent to a psychologist once because they thought it might be mental. And everybody said, I don't see anything wrong with you. I don't know why you're so tired. You can't figure this out, which was frustrating. I'm sure you can imagine, or maybe you can relate that you've been told that, what you have, like, we don't have a clue. You're just going to have to live with this. It's defeating. It's awful. It was depressing. I won't lie. I had a lot of years of depression and thinking that, maybe my life is just not meant to be. But I finally started to notice some patterns in the way I was eating and how I was feeling in my mid to late 20s. And then when I started to clean up my diet, some of those patterns really popped out for me. I remember switching all of my food away from like white pasta and white bread to whole grain bread and whole grain pasta, switching out the like bad Kraft singles cheese slices. Ugh, so embarrassed. And started to eat real aged hard cheddar cheese because that's what the clean eating guidelines were all about, was real cheese, full fat dairy, no sugar. And like I said, it did help to a degree, but every afternoon after lunch, I would crash so hard. I'd eat lunch about 12 o'clock, go for a walk afterwards with a couple of colleagues, sit back down at 1 o'clock. And by 1:20, 1:30, it was just like head in your hands. Just, I can't even, what is going on? This is awful. And then I started to wonder, could it be something I'm eating? So I looked at my lunch, which was a salmon salad sandwich on whole grain bread and a 1 inch chunk of cheese and an apple. And I played a little bit with the salmon sandwich. Nothing seemed to change. And I took the cheese out. That brain fog gone. It's like, wow. That was an amazing, amazing finding for me because I'd always eaten cheese. I'd always eaten so much cheese. And to know that it was one of the main causes of my brain fog, that simple removal was huge. You might be sitting there now thinking, I'm not giving up my cheese. And that's okay. I'm not telling you to give up your cheese. This was a pattern that I noticed. And I would love for you to start looking for these patterns. So I've given you a workbook to create your personalized food plan. And something you can do to start creating this is to just pay attention to your symptoms, how you feel. Energy level is a big one. Skin eruptions, anything like that. But energy is a huge one because it usually hits pretty quickly after you eat something that your body doesn't agree with. And just start noticing. If you notice a pattern after a while, start tweaking your diet to see if you can maybe eliminate that food for 4 or 5 days and if things change. One little caveat here is a lot of these foods, they trigger inflammation. And inflammation signs and symptoms sometimes don't show up for 72 hours. So the closer to the food that you notice the problem, the better, obviously. Otherwise, it's hard to remember, like, why do I feel like this 3 days later that I ate that? But if you can start noticing, or even little things that happen right after you eat a meal, that's something that is going to help you a lot to create your personalized food plan. And this is the key to overcoming your hormonal imbalances and any health problems you're dealing with. This is how I got rid of my chronic fatigue. Personalized nutrition. I figured out through a lot of work on my part what exactly was causing the fatigue what exactly my body needed for nutrients to refuel all my nutrient gaps, and which food really, really boosted and elevated my overall health and energy and vitality. A big part of that was nutrient dense foods. And I went from eating 4, maybe 5 servings of vegetables a day to eating like 8 or 9. I love vegetables now. And I was a person back then that hated them. My tastes changed in what I like to eat now because of how delicious I ensured that I made those vegetables. I will never expect anyone to do a complete 180 on their diet because that's not sustainable. It's not fun. You're going to feel deprived and like you're being challenged and pushed to do something you don't want to. So that resistance pops up and you don't follow through. That's why I want to put this power back into your hands today. I want you to take a look at your own diet and decide for yourself, is there something in this that's maybe making me feel crappy? Am I up for a 5-day challenge to eliminate one food this week that I think might be contributing to my fatigue, my brain fog, my insomnia, my mood swings? Am I willing to give that up just for 5 days and see what happens? Healthy, clean eating is great. It's a great first step. And if you're already there, I applaud you because that alone can be very difficult. However, just simply eating healthy and clean is not going to be enough to reverse your hormonal damage that has been caused by a past diet culture, exercise trends, supplements you've taken, and any other treatments that you've done. The key when we're talking about personalized nutrition is really understanding what nutrients your body needs. And last video, I give you a holistic health assessment that will have told you where your nutrient gaps are. So with those nutrient gaps in mind, I want you to make sure you're eating foods that have lots and lots of those nutrients in them. What's going to help you get to your hormonal goals faster is a variety of food. So your takeaways for today: pay attention, start noticing those patterns. If you're up for the challenge, remove one thing that you think might be causing the problem. And if after the 5 days you don't feel any different, go ahead and eat that again and try one other thing. And don't discount healthy foods that someone else has said are great for hormones or great for energy, because when I was going through my clean eating phase, everywhere I looked for clean eating recipes and guidance and support, cheese, real hard aged cheddar cheese, was one of the best sources of protein and nutrients that I could get. And it didn't work for me. Second, try adding one new food to your diet this week. Any way you want, just one. And if that feels good, too. And then make sure you read your Healing Foods for Hormone Balance guide, because this is going to give you a list of what foods are really good and supportive for very specific hormonal issues.